ever rendered a free service without any profit expected? Was the intention to help a cause or address a challenge? What was the experience and what impacts have been made so far? We call it volunteerism. On this episode of Curious Minds podcast, we discuss volunteering for community development. You can share your experiences with us on our various social media platforms, on Facebook, Curious Minds-Ghana, on Twitter at CM Ghana, and on Instagram at CM Ghana. Share that experience with us, that amazing experience you had whilst volunteering or whilst being part of addressing a particular challenge in your own community without it being maybe your job or your work or any other thing. My name is Mavis now Korley Aryee, and I have with me wonderful guests here to look at this particular topic, because as young people, it's part of the things that we are expected to do. We always say that we want to be part, we want to participate, but how do we do it? There are a lot of avenues, and volunteerism is one of the avenues. I'll give my guests the chance to introduce themselves as we zoom straight into the discussions, and I'm sure that whilst we are even going on, you'd remember some things you have done and just share it with us on our social media platforms. Welcome, people.
Thank you.
And so from my left side, I have
Ransford, Owusu-Ansah.
And
yes, truly Prince Quaye Bonney.
Hey, okay.
And about Appiatewaa.
And
Quaye,
the young person, the only young person in this room. Okay, so thank you all for making it to today's program or Curious Minds podcast as one of the things we are doing to also encourage young people to learn more and to also participate in a lot of activities that enhances development. So we are talking volunteering for community development. In the first place, when we talk about volunteerism, some may think as for volunteerism, it's for those who want to do it.
Yeah.
Would we say that is one thing that is good to be done, or why should we even think about volunteering in the first place? Let me bring Prince.
Mavis, I think volunteerism is for development. Volunteerism, it brings passion. Volunteerism is freedom. Volunteerism is love. Like volunteerism is a whole lot of things.
It's a whole mood.
Yeah, it's a whole mood.
The way you're describing the thing, I'm thinking how sweet you are feeling.
You should know. So it means like volunteering means a lot. It helps in community development because, as we already know, certain things are there that demands payments before are being done, and it delays. It makes the process being delayed. And if people volunteer, it makes a lot of things move faster. See, we are here on radio advocating day in, day out. We go into the communities, do things for them. Build libraries. Michael went to with a brew or something like that.
Calm down. We'll get to that. We'll get
how
to
passionate I am when it comes to volunteerism.
I understand how you feel about it, and we'll come back to some of the experiences you've had and the impacts that you've been able to make in those communities that people don't even have idea of. Some may have those capabilities, but they don't know they are even able to go out there to do something of that sort. Abba, what do you think? Why should we talk about volunteering in the first place?
Ankato sang the song that on my baby, yeah, if he so I feel that volunteerism is one of the ways to help develop our own self in ways that other people may not do. I remember when we were being inaugurated as SDG ambassadors, as an icebreaker, they asked if you had the chance.
When volunteers are talking, you know.
we were asked if you were asked to live in another country, which country would you live? Would you choose to live and why? And people were mentioning Singapore, US, Dubai. And then I mentioned Ghana, and I was like, why would you want to live in Ghana? And I'm like, if I don't live in Ghana and make it well, and other people are also struggling to make their countries well. Who would come and make us well for us? So I think that is one of the ways to make lives better for ourselves and for the people around us.
If indeed. Okay, Ransford.
You know, we are all in Ghana at the moment, but I think I would have to betray Abba. There's no way I'm living here with you. I'm leaving. Yeah, so when we talk about volunteerism, we are looking at providing time and skills for the benefit of other people and with other causes rather than financial benefits. Because if you're looking at an employment-related context, volunteerism is concerned with the methods and tools employers use to support employees that want to volunteer. They are begging the question now, bringing the word back. So I think in our context as young people, with the kind of work we even do here in Curious Minds, we are looking at volunteering, we are looking at putting, like as I said earlier, putting the finances aside, in as much as sometimes it's very necessary. Looking at doing what you, putting your skills to good use, your abilities to good use to better your community, and not expecting something financial in return, but you are expecting the development of your community, the development of your society. If you are doing it in your school, we are looking at developing the school, not the school paying you for what you are doing. But then, that's why it's called volunteerism. Nobody you want to do it for the betterment of the place. So,
okay. We'll find out if we don't need any resources to.
It's not like we don't need it.
No, that's what I'm saying. We'll find out.
Okay, let's find out.
Let me bring someone to the mic to say that. For how long have you been volunteering?
All my life.
I can't even remember.
I've been volunteering all my life, like straight from the cradle.
I know someone will be asking how old is he, but
I'm a young person. That's what matters. That is exactly what matters here.
So for that's very long time you started volunteering, and you continue to volunteer because yes, Curious Minds is known for that. What has been the experience so far that keeps you going?
The fact that I actually realize the impacts I am making, the impacts our collective efforts are making. And when I say our, I mean those of the colleagues I began volunteering with, those I have had the opportunity and privilege to also volunteer alongside, the number of people we have met, positive words or reactions we've gotten from a lot of people. And I mean, even the sense of fulfillment to realize that at least putting in all this work hasn't been in vain, and there are still younger ones who are taking up the mantle to continue that particular cause. That alone gives me that joy and motivates me to continue, to keep on, because at least, if for nothing at all, I can visibly realize what benefits that are coming out of the sacrifices or volunteer efforts I've put in.
Great. We'll come to some of the challenges and the specific things that you've been able to do, aside maybe generalizing that you've made impact. I know there are a lot of stories that you can share to even tell how you've impacted. Sometimes people do things and they're unable to even count or measure their results. But I know that with you being part of Curious Minds for a very long time and taking a lot of steps, volunteering on one project or the other, we've been able to count some of the results that have maybe come out from our actions or our volunteer projects. Let me come to Prince. Prince, for you, I also know that yes, did you also start from
No. I think I actively started volunteerism from 2018. I knew about Curious Minds way back in 2014, but then I didn't really know what it was about, what volunteerism was about until 2018, where Michael introduced me, showed me a few places I should go when I want to do things like that, and I got the passion for it. So yeah.
So what has been the experience? Do you think it is worth doing, or is just some people think we are wasting our time?
No, Mavis. I remember myself and Samuel went for an outreach in Nima, and we went to give books out. It was a literacy project. It was a literacy project, and you should see the smile on the faces of the young ones. You should see the smile on the faces of their parents who couldn't afford common exercise book, common textbooks. You go to communities like Nankese in the central region, and you see the smile on the young one's face, and it makes me feel like proud if someone is mentioning my name, that Bra Prince Bahade no better
Bra Prince, yo.
So it makes me proud, and I feel like if I don't get any money from this, God is going to reward me, and it's truly he's rewarding me, giving opportunities out of this volunteerism I've been doing over the years.
Yeah, sometimes common things are not common to common people. Someone will put it that it's important that we even consider the kind of people that we are even helping. Some are, you may find people in the same community, but some may be ahead of the others. So for you, Abba, that's, yes, you mentioned even being part of the SDGs. It tells how you've been part of a lot of things. Can you share some of the things you've been able to do and the kind of impacts, if there are some immediate, some years are not immediate, you may find it in the long run, but some are also immediate. You can see, like Prince was saying, for the books, you know that next week or even this week, people are going to school, and so they will need it. But here is the case, they don't have it. So what are some of the things you've been part of, and then the impacts, if you've been able to find some?
Okay, so actually, I think that I've even lost track of the number of organizations that I have volunteered with, but some of them that I think that are very important, and I think I care more about, even though I care of the rest, is being part of Campaign for Female Education and Mastercard Foundation. So campaign, even though now we are just calling it Comfort and not Campaign for Female Education, we have impacted the life of a lot of young people. We have touched the life of a lot of young girls, especially from the JHS level to the tertiary level. So actually, I'm a sexual reproductive health activist with Mastercard. I'm also a learner guide with Comfort. And then I'm a transition guide with Comfort as well. So the transition guide, we, as the word says, we transition young girls and boys. Now we are adding boys to it, because if things are going to be well, it doesn't take just one sex. So we transition them from the SHS level into the life after SHS. So into the employment world, into the further education world, and into the entrepreneurship world. Yes. And then the learner guide, now Mastercard with Comfort has brought an extracurricular syllabus that is called the My Better World program, where our school's curriculum look at the math, science, the social studies, and then we kind of not take too much attention to the child's emotional health, their physical health, their psychological health. So we, the learner guides, look at that. So give them career pathway, what courses they can do in the SHS in relation to their interest. So that, usually you go to the hospital, the nurses are insulting people because probably they went to the nursing school because of the allowance that they get when they go to nursing school, and not because they are passionate about helping people who are sick. So we look at what they are passionate about. We use the RISEC test to align their interests to the things that they can do in their future or their career pathway. And these are some of the things that I think that it gives me that kind of fulfillment, being a mentor and like a big sister to a lot of young people. And now I see some of my girls do a lot of great, and I'm like, oh God, I feel so bad.
Oh, Sister Abba. So it tells that, yes, young people, like we have been saying, need a lot of guidance, a lot of mentorship to be able to find themselves, especially in their career paths. It's very necessary, because a lot of people end up in the wrong professions or end up in the wrong careers because they lack a lot of these things. Even some of us, we don't want to go inside. Yes, Ransford, you are also one person who has finished SHS not too long ago, but have been part of a lot of volunteer programs. How did you start? Because someone will ask, if you're in school, how would you be able to volunteer?
So talking about the school level, bringing it to because Mavis has already snitched me. Bringing it to the school, I think in junior high, I volunteered. When it comes to the community level, I didn't really do a lot, but in the schools, I think I did some things that I go back to my school and I'm like, wow, I have really done a lot. In the Form 3 classroom, the junior JHS 3 classroom, my batchmates and I decided to renovate the classroom for a better learning experience.
Then you have money.
We had money. So we bought fans, we bought monitors, we bought new desks, we painted the whole place, bought new boards, bought projectors and everything to make the place different, make the place nice.
Were you part of the SRC?
Yeah. Well, yes, okay. I was. So yes, we did that, and then the place was looking so nice, and then I was so happy to see and I was very sad to leave the place. Initially we wanted to hurry up and leave the school, but then after renovating the place, we wanted to live longer. We wanted to live longer in the school. But then when I go back to the school, I see the classroom. I'm like, yeah, I did this, and I see people enjoying the place. It saddens my heart, but I'm also happy that someone else is enjoying the place. When I come to the senior high school level, fortunately, my batchmates and I love basketball a lot, and our basketball court was very, that bad. So some of us decided to come together, because if you tell the school authority about these things, they won't listen. So we decided to do it ourselves, just get the money, then get to the school authorities and talk to them about, okay, this is what we want to do. We have our own money. This is what we want to do. And then they're like, sure, you can go ahead. But the thing is, we'd have to name it. It has to be in the batch's name. So in as much as it was a small group of people, we were able to do it, and then we had to name it in the batch's name. So I feel, yes, I've done a lot in our schools. I was able to teach a lot of young people in the school about their rights and everything, which I can boldly boast of. I see them in the, Charlie, I've done a lot. So I made it. Yeah, we made it. There's still more to do, but then, yeah.
Yes, you also did your part. Someone would say that some have started. We can also continue, and others will also end it. So with Samuel Quaye being a young person and also volunteering all his life, the question would be that, so what are some of the benefits that community is getting from people who have decided to volunteer? Are they really seeing something, or we are only making noise? I remember we went to volunteer somewhere to educate people on 25th May, which is the African Union. Yes, African Union Day. And then people were like, you've collected money and you're here coming to talk to us plenty and stuff like that. I don't know if you've experienced people who think that you've collected money and that is why you think you want to offer some services.
Well, not necessarily, but then it's not difficult to also understand how some of the people think in these communities. And it's also part of the reason why, despite the benefit or the gains we have recorded as part of volunteer activities, there still are challenges that impede the smooth or the effectiveness of having the volunteering spirit permeate into the lives of people. You do volunteer because you feel maybe whatever needs to be done wouldn't be done if we are all waiting to be paid, or if someone is to be paid to do it. So let's volunteer, get this particular activity done, or get this particular initiative carried out so that it will help people. And like you were hinting earlier on, not all volunteer work involves zero funds. You definitely need funds, resources, to even provide relief materials or educative materials to people. Like Prince was saying, we came together, contributed some amount of money, had donations from other people, and then we're able to procure exercise books, textbooks, biscuits, a couple of other things, and donate to people. So yes, the essence of it is not just giving of yourself without any financial or other form of resource involved, but then putting it to good use such that it's not like you are exploiting the people by deciding to receive donations and others, and then probably understating it or going to hide somewhere and then enjoying whatever was supposed to be given to the benefit of other people. That is sadly what we need to move beyond as communities in our settings in order to make sure that volunteer activities are well benefiting the community. There are so many, especially when it comes to National Volunteer Day on 21st September. Like so many people are engaged in so many volunteer activities all over, but the net effect of it is not really telling in communities. Yes, it's helping individuals, it's helping certain groups and spaces, and of course, because some of them, there aren't really specified ways in which to ensure continuity, like the way Curious Minds has the regular flow of volunteer activities targeted at communities in certain places. It also makes the impact quite difficult.
So someone may want to know what exactly you are doing, because you mentioned that Curious Minds.
With Curious Minds, aside the radio programs we do weekly on Unique FM 95.7, we do go into the communities as well. So there are outside broadcast sessions that bring the radio to people in the communities and in various places. Plus the projects that we run, which are also funded, but then it's supposed to be for the benefit of communities. That is why we move into the communities to carry out colloquiums, to discuss issues that relate to young people and their welfare, and also speak with stakeholders in those communities to ensure that they are being held accountable for what they are supposed to do to help their communities. If we are waiting to be paid huge amounts of money before we decide to carry out such interventions, the work might probably not be done. But by teaming up with other like-minded organizations to carry out this kind of outreach and educational programs in these communities, in a way, Curious Minds is also contributing its quota to also help in the development of the country.
So I remember when I went to GIG and then the SRC president came to talk to us. I was like, young people, you have come, fresh people, so volunteer, be doing that. I was just scared that I'm here to learn. What if myself, I'm not too sharp and you're asking me to go and volunteer again? What if I'm not able to benefit from the school I lose sight of the reason for which I am here? But are there some personal benefits, or are there some things that maybe young people can get from that? So it comes like, okay, not only to volunteer for other people to benefit, but you're also able to get something from. Let me bring Abba to this, and then I'll come back to you, Sami, for other. Yes,
I think we can all attest to the fact that I am quite passionate about mental health and depression specifically. And volunteerism has been proven to combat depression, because we know that mostly depression comes by isolation and then irregular contact with other people. So when you volunteer, you get to contact and get network with other people, become very active and proactive. And then I think that apart from even the mental health aspect, that it makes you contact other people, have interactions with other people, which is good for your mental health, it's also good for your physical health as well. It has proven to reduce some physical health diseases like heart diseases or heart failure. I think that being active and all helps that. And then apart from that fact, it also boosts your self-confidence. I think all of us here have mentioned the fact that because we have volunteered with other people and touched the life of other people, it gave us a form of fulfillment, that form of accomplishment, self-accomplishment, which increases your self-confidence, and then you feel better about yourself. Yes, you feel better about yourself, and you feel you're likely to have a positive view of your own future and your life goals.
Okay, before I come to Sami to round it all up, telling how it's impacting the bigger picture of the development process. And Prince, can you just highlight a few of maybe the challenges that you tend to encounter even in this, so it doesn't look like it's all rosy?
Yeah, Mavis, there are a lot of challenges when it comes to volunteerism, especially when the organization exploits the volunteers that come to work for them or come to render their services for them. You see, there are times that there are money allocated for volunteers that, at least come and get something, but then these organizations block, so then they will let you go like that. There are times you feel that Mavis up with my age, you have worked and at least even water and for us to drink, to motivate us to come the next time. Yes, we are helping the national development cause, but it doesn't mean you should exploit us.
We should kill ourselves. Then who will come and volunteer the next time?
Exactly.
Okay, so back to Sami. So how does all of these things, aside maybe some of the challenges that if we start mentioning we won't be able to finish, how is this contributions we are making able to impact the bigger development process in our communities?
Yeah, I think it's a two-way affair, and the one volunteering and those being volunteered for all benefit or are all supposed to benefit. For instance, me volunteering in various capacities have built a lot of skills I would probably not have had if I hadn't engaged in. I can do block work, mason work, carpentry, steel bending. I'm not a technical school student. By association with Curious Minds and what I've been involved in, I've known a little bit of radio programming, radio production, editing and all that. These are all skills that persons who offer themselves as volunteers build. And imagine those in various aspects as well, especially those in STEM who are gaining science, engineering and math skills as well. The more the people who are engaged in this volunteer activity, the more you get people growing up with a lot more skills that they can fall on if maybe the main thing they were studying do not help. And probably referencing what you got told in GIJ, the impact of it is that, well, you came probably to study PR or some other course, but then by volunteering and then getting engaged in so many other things, you gain certain skills that you might probably not even learn in the lecture hall, but would benefit you in future. Plus, those being volunteered for, I mean, those in the communities and others, also gets to receive some benefit from the efforts of these volunteer activities, especially when it is well targeted, so that it makes the most impact. It complements the efforts of government at helping people in the community. So cleanup exercises, which will help to rid communities of illnesses and mosquitoes and diseases, that helps the country as a whole, if the health budget is not going to be stressed on all these things. Plus, as Abba and others have been engaged in, reproductive health education also helps in reducing teenage pregnancies and other instances. It's a lot. I mean, if you put your mind to it, there are so many ways in which volunteer activities do go a long way to help, if it is well structured and targeted at people in the communities.
That's a very good one there. That's something that maybe no one may be willing to do, or no one will consciously say that I am being employed to do that particular work, but you offer yourself to do it. And this is a nice quote that I found, and I would want to read it out. It says that volunteers do not necessarily have the time, they just have the heart. You make a living by what you get. You make a life by what you give. Volunteers are the only human beings on the face of the earth who reflect this nation's compassion, unselfish caring, patience, and just plain loving one another. So in as much as you want to work and earn those big things for yourself, yes, you want to make it in life and all of that, but what are you also doing for other people? How are you helping other people with the skills that you have, with the money that you have, and the other resources that we can make mention of? This is how we end today's episode, talking about volunteering or volunteerism and community development. We have heard how it has impacted a lot of communities, or even individuals. Communities have benefited from the things that we have done, and individuals have also benefited from it. And so it is important that we all be part of the process, offer ourselves to be able to develop our communities. And so thank you for doing the listening, and drop us a comment on Facebook, Curious Minds -Ghana, Twitter at CM Ghana, and Instagram at CM Ghana. My name is Mavis Aryee, and our executive producer has been Kingsley Obeng-Kyereh, with producer being Michael Tetteh Doku. So we come your way with another episode. We say let's continue to volunteer for our own community's development. Thank you very much.